Hello again, basketball fans, and a most cordial welcome once again to NBLC This Week. I'm your host, Aaron Sanders, and we have a jam-packed schedule for you today as we recap week number 3 of the 2019-2020 campaign. Let's start things off with the days of January 7th and the 8th as the St. John's Edge played their very first home games against the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. It was both of those games where the Edge prevailed. And for more on those games, let's get a recap from their broadcasting
Steve
crew.
Power, Doug Partridge here at Mile 1. Post-game, the St. John's Edge coming out on top here tonight, sweeping the two-game homestand with the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. Doug, Jesse Jones, player of the game tonight, named for St. John's. He had a really strong finish.
Yeah, he did a great job tonight off the bounce. I think early in the year he was knocking down the three, but he was not shooting a good percentage in the two-point territory. Tonight he did a really good job of taking the ball to the net and making the three, and I thought it really rounded out his game and allowed the Edge to pull away in the second half.
And as per normal, Junior Cadogan is the floor general for the St. John's Edge team. When he's on the floor, he seems to be the straw that stirs the proverbial drink. Talk a little bit about Junior and his play.
Yeah, he definitely set the tone. He didn't score like he did last night. Last night he had a good offensive game. Tonight, he didn't shoot a great percentage, but he just sets the tone defensively. He gets them to the right spots. Whoever he guards is not a factor. And he's switchable as a big guard. He's switchable across every position. So I think it just helps them set their defense and get in the right spots and set the tone they need set for the game.
And on the KW side, Jared Nickens had a great comeback to Mile 1 playing with the Edge last year. Nickens leading all scorers in both games. Frankly, without Nickens, KW were in a lot of trouble in these games. Talk about Jared's play.
Yeah, KW needs to work on their depth issues. They need to find some extra people who can contribute, but Nickens certainly had a great weekend, and you have to feel good for that. He's a good young man. I had a chance to meet him last year. Quality individual, and certainly happy to see him play well and light things up here this weekend.
I'll be happy to see Jared play well. Maybe not as well against the Edge as he did, but full marks to Jared Nickens. A great effort there. And one more player we'll highlight from the Edge, Carrington Ward. He seems to have that little special something. Pretty sure I haven't seen the best out of Carrington Ward there, and I'm excited to see what comes. What are your thoughts on Ward?
Yeah, I agree. I said during the two-game set that I would like to see him do a little bit more going to the rim, be a little bit more physical. He has the frame to do that. He tried to make some of those plays tonight. Some of them were successful, some of them weren't. But he has that great stroke. Great three-point shooter, good size, good width for his position. He defends hard. He rebounds well. So he's a classic three-man for this league and probably will be an all-star.
So there you have it. Things went the Edge way in this series with Kitchener-Waterloo. Final score in this one, Edge 100, KW 86. Back in town here on January 21st when the Sudbury 5 roll into town. They'll be great matchups here for the Edge.
And then on January 9th, NBL Canada history was made as a new record was set for the most combined points from both teams in a single game in league history. Yes, I'm talking about the Sudbury 5 and the Halifax Hurricanes. Dateline, the Scotiabank Center, where the final score was 158-141 in favor of the Sudbury 5. The previous record was set last season by the Windsor Express and the London Lightning, with the Lightning prevailing 147-144 in a double overtime affair. However, in this very game, there were 8 players in double-digit scoring figures for the Sudbury 5. Now that's very high. Leading scorer for the Halifax Hurricanes, Antoine Mason, who set a franchise career high of 44 points. That is a game that's going to go for the ages, and of course, you can check NBLC Live to watch a repeat of that game because, man alive, if you blinked, you would have missed a couple of baskets being scored. All right, my broadcast partner, JB Justin Prince, joined me. Here we are at the WFCU Center where the Windsor Express defeat the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans 99-87. And this game pretty much had a lot to offer. Block parties, scoring runs. What more can you ask for? A great performance from the Windsor Express, especially in the second half.
Absolutely. That second half controlled definitely by Shaq Keith when it came to the scoring, even with the foul trouble he was dealing with. But as well, the blocks by Sam Muldrow, 6 total blocks, just one shy of tying the team record with Chris Commons for blocks in a game. It was an absolutely stellar game for the Windsor Express in that second half to be able to turn things around in what was looking like a very close game for the first 24 minutes.
Early, yeah, like you said, early on it looked like KW had the advantage, the depth and everything. You have to tip the cap to them because they played short-staffed, only 9 players, but they were able to compile their veterans together and they were able to take care of business. The problem was the Windsor Express were 2 steps ahead of them come the second half.
Yeah, the energy I think just kicked in towards the second half where it's hard to play with just 9 players. They had to play with essentially 8 in the second half in terms of rotation. I think that all really factored in towards it's going to be hard to keep up in a high-tempo game like it was tonight for much of the way. The Titans tried to make it a grinded-out, slower-tempo game, but Windsor was able to make it their type of ball game in the second half and just took over, especially defensively, to be able to take over and pull away and never look back.
Top 2 players for the Titans, Jonathan Harris, and along with Akeem Ellis, a double-doubled, battered, bruised, and everything else. He was still able to come to play, finish off through some really strong finishes, too. I mean, that's a positive if you are a part of Cavell Johnson's squad right now.
Yeah, I definitely liked what I've seen from Ellis all tonight with that double-double. He absolutely was the heart and soul of this team, trying to work hard to get in the proper position, try and set up his teammates, and try in multiple different situations to get himself the basketball in the paint in tough situations. It was an entertaining ball game, to say the very least. Ellis was one of the main reasons, and the Titans were even had a shot even in the fourth quarter when the Titans started to get a run in the ball game.
Absolutely. JP, thank you for your time, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Aaron.
All right, on January 9th also, it was the Sudbury 5 who continued their Atlantic Division trip. This time, they were over in Charlottetown to play against the Island Storm. The Island Storm prevailed over the Sudbury 5, and for a recap of that game, here are their broadcast team, Peter Rutgazer and Gordon McNeely.
Let's give you some post-game from Charlottetown as the Island Storm win this one. A high-scoring affair, 131-122 over the Sudbury 5. Sudbury coming off an unbelievable game last night in Halifax, 158-141 in that one. A lot of offense led by Nathaniel Wright for the Storm with 27 points.
It was, Peter, this game was so amazing. This is NBL at its finest. High scoring, so much skill and talent. The Storm come out on top, but Sudbury played a fantastic game, and Nathaniel Wright really came in, played nice and controlled, did what he had to, 27 points. This young man is just starting in the NBL. Unbelievable.
Yeah, 6 man coming off the bench, giving you that much offense. That's pretty good. As for Sudbury, they turned the ball over just a little too much for Logan Stutz.
Yeah, and Brandon Rayson was in foul trouble early, and that kind of hurt them and made him think. But listen, they turned the ball over, but they buckled down, and they had some huge performances. And this team, I really enjoyed watching this team. They were phenomenal on the road, a long road trip. They played very, very well.
Next Friday, the Sudbury team will be at home. They'll take on Kitchener. As for the Storm, they will play Sunday against the Halifax Hurricanes. Final score once again, the Storm win this one, 131-122 over Sudbury.
You know, the NBLC has been around since 2011, and there's only a handful of people that remain with the league even after all this time. You could talk about players, you could talk about the teams, but no team is around without its coaches. And for Joe Salermo, the head coach of the Moncton Magic, he accomplished an interesting feat here in the NBL. Earlier this season, he was able to collect his 200th coaching win in the National Basketball League of Canada. And who would have thought that this guy from Vermont would do so much here in Canada's Professional Basketball League? You have to go all the way back to the first season of the league where he was a coach of the Summerside Storm, and then later on to Charlottetown as the Island Storm. Gained a couple of finals appearances, and then around 2017, he got the call to become the head bench boss of the new Moncton Magic. And who would have thought it would lead to a lot of great things? In 2018-2019, he helped the Magic claim their very first NBL Canada title. And here we are in 2019-2020 as he reaches a big milestone, 200 wins. That's a lot of hard work, a lot of players that have come and gone, but a lot of respect. Here's what he has to say about achieving that accomplishment.
I mean, it feels great. You know, I think to be recognized for, you know, an accomplishment such as that is always a nice thing. When I think back and when I hear that number 200, it just kind of makes you think back of all the games that you've been through in this league. And you know, I've certainly lost quite a few too, so it's a large number of games. You know, I've been in this league since day one, and you know, again, to be recognized for that accomplishment, you know, it's a nice feeling. You know, when I first came to the league 9 years ago, you know, I had no idea how long I was going to be in the league, and you know, now with my second team, you know, here with the Magic, you know, you certainly go through ups and downs, and but no, I never would have guessed I'd have 200 wins in this league. Again, I had no idea how long I would be here, so you know, it's been a long road, but it's been a good one, and you know, I'm certainly proud of the accomplishment. A lot of things and a lot of people are involved. You know, certainly all the assistant coaches that I've had, and the management that I've worked for, and you know, all the players that I've had over the course of the years. I've had an awful lot of talented players that have all had a huge part in getting to 200 wins. You know, them along with my support, you know, staff or support system at home, with my wife and my children and my family. You know, all those people just played a really big part in you know, having success in this league. And you know, there's a lot of hard work and there's a lot of resiliency, you know, when you talk about winning that many games.
NBL Canada Nation, it is time for the second installment of NBLC Cuts. Will your favorite teams make it? Will your favorite players make it? Well, let's find out. Here it is.
Lots of guys to watch on NBLC Live.
Okay, what are the highlights? What about our favorite players? What about our favorite team? This little interesting feature we call NBLC Cuts. Here it is.
In the hands of Cadogan. Cadogan. Nice feed inside for Carrington Ward. Great play there by Junior Cadogan.
Mason on the drive, and that's knocked off the backboard. Williams Jr., and he'll go in for the one-handed jam.
Ball, and it's grabbed by Zimmerman. Scales. No look, bounce pass. Oh, that is a sweet dime.
The line
Flip
here. I mean,
Scales.
that's two fouls on.
My gosh, you got to be kidding me. There's Johnson with the throwdown.
Osei misses the 3-ball. Numbers the other way. Williamson lights the crowd on fire with the two-hand.
As a big guy, it's tough if you don't have the good hands. Great pass by Broom.
Speaking of good hands.
Now Robinson gives it to Nathaniel Wright, and a massive jam to put an exclamation point on this game.
He's 3 for 3 from distance. Mason, baseline. Johnson throws down a two-handed hammer.
Kicks it outside, wide open under the basket. Monte Brandon. Oh my goodness, he could have had a Coke and a smoke and a smile.
Now it's Anderson trying to retaliate. Bounce pass to Keith. Catches it with one hand.
Lynn is still in the game. Nickens is in the game. Ellis.
Across the
There's a big defensive rejection in the game.
Williams Jr. to Skeens, and Skeens will throw it down in two hands.
Got that basket for Lillard. Look at that.
Oh, the hoop and the harm. Yeah, show the guns, Nathaniel Wright, as he's going to the line.
Antoine's been outstanding. Williams Jr. got away with a walk, but a flush there by Marlon Johnson. Man,
To the moon and back. He gets up into the air. Punch it on him. To the moon and back.
Week 4 of the NBLC 1920 season is going to be a jam-packed one. Let's take a look at the key games to watch. On January 14th, it is a school day game over in the Kitchener-Waterloo region as the Titans host the Island Storm, who are playing their first game of the Ontario road trip. Now pay attention to that time because tip-off will be at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And then following that, on the 17th and the 19th, it is a battle between the defending champion, Moncton Magic, as they go over to Halifax to play against the Hurricanes. And then also on the 19th, it will be the Island Storm traveling to the Nickel City to play against the Sudbury 5. It will be the Island Storm's final game in their Ontario road trip, so be sure you check that out. We're out of time for this installment of NBL Canada this week, and of course, some reminders. To catch all the action from your favorite teams and the league, be sure to subscribe to NBLC Live immediately. And once again, Scott Squires will be hosting the league's podcast around the NBLC, so be sure to tune in for that. Until next week, I thank you for watching, and this be Aaron Sanders. I'll see you next time for NBL Canada This Week.